Hi there, it's Coney from Upright Solutions again, and today I want to talk about the new announcement from Google, which is Google Instant Pages. Now, if my jaw looks a little bit saggy today, it's because I've only just picked it up off the floor. As I sat there watching Google announce this new feature of theirs, literally it was a jaw-dropping, amazing announcement in my opinion. So it's actually coincided with some ideas that I've had recently. I was thinking about Google, and I'm thinking about how insane their IT infrastructure is. You know, they've got thousands and thousands of web servers that they use to run the Google search engine, right? And given they've got an obsession with speed, I thought, well, why don't they use this server infrastructure to start offering, Google website hosting? Because then they've got control over how fast the hosting is, and they've obviously got the cash to invest in servers all over the world. Because at the moment they are relying on third-party hosting providers for loading websites at high speed, right? But then the problem with that is it still relies on the user having a fast internet connection, because the web server can be as fast as you like. If someone's got a very, very slow internet connection, then it's still only going to be able to receive the web pages at a certain speed. So that's probably why they haven't gone that way. Now, because Google's got an obsession with speed, they have measured everything to do with someone's experience of doing a search on Google. Okay? Now, what they've found is that it takes us, on average, 9 seconds to decide what we want to search for. So this is to enter the search query. And Google can't really control how quickly we input the search term. Well, they can actually, but they can't control how fast we type, but they've got all sorts of plans in the pipeline about how to help us enter our query quicker, but that's not what we're talking about today. But they've measured it, 9 seconds on average it takes us to enter our search query. Then there's this minute amount of time that it takes the Google system to come back with a list of search results. And I'll draw it as a line because it's so small, it's like a fraction of a second, that, they've got the most control at this point, but it's so fast compared to the rest of what we're going to draw, it's negligible. The next part is how long it takes us to decide which one of the 10 or 100 results we want to click on. So Google comes back with a list of results, and on average it takes us 15 seconds to decide which one of those results we want to click on. So we read the titles, we read the descriptions, and eventually we choose, number 1 to 10 and click on it. Okay? So it takes us 15 seconds to make our minds up. So a lot of this time is the human interaction. And the final part is, once we've clicked on one of those results, how long it takes for the web page to load. Okay? So Google have measured this as well. And they've measured that the average web page takes 5 seconds to load. 5 seconds! That's a long time on the internet. And the reason it's taking that long is because there's so many third-party things plugged into your website nowadays. If you've got a blog feeding in, or if you've got a Twitter feed feeding in, it's not just a case of loading the text and the images on the site. It has to go to all these other sites and get some content and bring it back. And that all takes time, not only for the web server that your website's on, it's also all the other web servers that you're pulling information from. You've got to wait for them all, right? So the average web page, 5 seconds to load. That's ridiculously long. Most people would want a web page to load in 1 second. So we've got a certain amount of control over that as website owners, because if we design our site properly, have good hosting, and minimize the number of third parties we call upon, then we can reduce that. But the average on the whole internet, based on Google's testing, is 5 seconds. So this Google Instant Pages thing is talking about removing this 5 seconds. So removing the amount of time it takes for a web page to load from 5 seconds to almost 0. Now, how is that possible? Because what I've mentioned about the Google hosting thing idea is that it would still take time for the information to reach your computer, right? So what Google have done is they've decided to load the web pages that come up in the search results while you're figuring out which one to click on. Okay? So they've taken this 5 seconds here, and they're not going to wait until you've picked one of the results before they load it. They're going to start loading it while you're sat looking at the search results. So that suddenly saves you that 5 seconds. So you sat there browsing all the Google search results, and in the background the Google Instant Pages system is downloading the site. But it actually goes further than that. That assumes you're only going to click on and read one result. So you're only going to click on one site, and that's the site you'll end up staying on. Now that's not often the case. As much as Google, like to think that they bring up the most relevant results, oftentimes we have to click on a few ourselves to find exactly what it is we're looking for. So take a realistic scenario. Perhaps we click on one result, it's not quite what we wanted, so we click back, and another, that's not quite what we wanted, we click back again, and then we click on a third result. So, in that case, we're loading 3 sites, right? And if they on average each take 5 seconds to load, we're spending another 15 seconds in this overall experience. So we're sat on the search results for 15 seconds, and then we wait for one page to load, then we decide it's not what we want, click back, click on another one, we have to wait another 5 seconds, click back and another 5 seconds. So what was once a 15-second interaction is now a 30-second interaction. Every time we do a search, and we're doing billions, in the world we're doing billions and billions of searches. So it doesn't just save us one set of 5 seconds. It takes all of that and it stacks it up here. So it's going to load all 3 of those sites at the same time. So it's saving you all that time while you're sat there on the Google search result page. So it's multiple savings. But what about the person's internet connection? If Google were downloading these sites onto their servers, it would still take time for your internet connection to download it to your computer, and that might be where the slowest point is. And how they've achieved this is by using a bit of technology built into your web browser. So you remember when the Google Instant feature came out, where you start typing and it shows you the search results straight away. Now that's all happening at Google's end. But with Instant Pages, because of the bottleneck, if you like, with your slow internet connection, that won't work because it still has time to download. So what Google have done is they've added a bit of technology onto the Firefox web browser and the Google Chrome web browser to download these pages in the background on your computer. So it's your computer in the background that's doing this downloading, so that when you click on it, it loads instantly because it's already on your computer. That's how come it can happen instantly, right? Because it's already downloaded. Now this is another stab, or another nail in the coffin, of Internet Explorer, because I've noticed they've specifically not included Internet Explorer in the Google Instant Pages feature. And because of Google's position, they can leverage their leadership as the #1 search engine in the world to get their web browser out there, the Google Chrome one, get more people using it. So what are the implications for search engine optimization? What about all of us that are optimizing our websites to try and get higher rankings on Google and trying to get more traffic? Well, from my personal point of view, it doesn't really make any difference. If you follow best practice in search engine optimization, all of these types of things, all of the changes that Google makes to its algorithm and its rules about ranking, they don't really make any difference. If you're following best practice in SEO, the techniques are pretty much timeless. So things like having a fast loading website, having good content on your website, being ethical about the whole thing, that's timeless stuff. And actually, as Google brings more and more rules and more sophistication to their search engine, it actually makes ethical search engine optimization produce better results without any extra effort. So what Google is constantly trying to do is to penalize the unethical SEO. So what you have to do is make a commitment to doing it well, to doing it properly and ethically, and then every time there's a new announcement, you can celebrate. So from my point of view, it's business as usual. We'll just carry on providing our search engine optimization in an ethical way, and our results will go up a notch because of this feature. So that's all for now. Hopefully that's been enlightening for you. Until next time, take care.